Recently I, 25 meters, got engaged to my amazing fiancée, 24F, Amy. I was the happiest I have ever been when Amy said yes and was nothing but excited for our wedding. We started planning the venues, the dates and the invites. When talking about who to invite, we both agreed to invite out co-workers as we have worked in our respective jobs for years and like them all. As I checked that off the list, Amy spoke up and said everyone from my job can come except my work friend Tally, 26F. Tally is also one of my close friends, so this surprised me that Amy didn't want to invite her. She has met Tally multiple times and there didn't seem to be any issues. When I asked why, she said she just doesn't like her and finds our friendship uncomfortable, saying she thinks that Tally is the type of person to try to sway taken men and be the center of attention. After talking some more to see where she got this idea, it turned out this was based on nothing but Tally's looks, as even Amy admitted that Tally is always very kind to her. But still, Amy is adamant about Tally not going and said that she makes her insecure. Amy is a beautiful woman, so I don't know why she feels this way. I told Amy that if it makes her feel comfortable not having Tally at the wedding then that is fine, but before invitations go out I wanted to speak to her privately to let her know to save embarrassment. Amy agreed and that was really that. We didn't speak on the matter after. A week or so later I went into work and Tally started to ignore me, only really talking if it was work related. I was confused as it isn't just her, our co-workers have started to ignore her and acting strange to me. So I contacted her BF, only for him to be sarcastic on the phone. I asked what the problem was when he asked if I actually didn't know what happened. He then filled me in. Turned out a few days earlier Amy came to my work on my day off with invitations. I had no idea she even made them yet, and handed everyone an invite in front of Tally, then saying to Tally, "You aren't invited, women like you aren't welcome," which has sparked everyone suggesting she is my other woman. Since then she has been harassed by some guys at work and shunned by the women. She is now looking for another job. This pissed me off and I apologized profusely as I didn't know. When I got home that night I confronted Amy about this. She denied it at first, but then told me she did it, but it is now not an issue because she's quitting her job. I flipped on her saying how she clearly didn't trust me to say and that she crossed the line doing all this behind my back. She didn't see the problem and got upset asking me why I'm so mad, me responding, "If we are really going to get married, get your insecurities in check and grow up." I stayed at a friend's since but have had texts from Amy, her friends and her mother saying I was an asshole for this and that Amy doesn't deserve this treatment. Ada? Edit. I should have explained better two things. 1. I have made many attempts to speak to Tally privately to find out what was happening prior to contacting her BF. She brushed me off by saying she either had work to do or that there was nothing to talk about. No one would really speak to me, so I contacted her BF as a last resort. Her BF says he is going to pass on to Tally what I said to him on the phone. 2. The wedding is currently on hold, that is also why I'm staying at my friend's. Need some distance to figure stuff out. I made the post because of all the texts. Edit 2. Jesus, this blew up, and I must say thank you to everyone for the advice you are giving me. But there is one thing I must clear up. The whole suggestion that I may have cheated on Amy with Tally. All I can ask is, can people of the opposite sex not be friends without anything untoward happening? Nothing has or ever will happen with Tally, no feelings, nothing adult, absolutely nothing. Tally is happy and in love, her boyfriend is someone I also consider a close friend. I was happy with Amy, prior to this, and Tally is more like a sister to me. I find it pretty disturbing that people are even suggesting that I did something with Tally. Ask yourself this, why in God's green earth would I let and encourage Amy to meet Tally in the first place if anything had happened? That would be messed up beyond belief. Also, I don't work in an office. I have no idea where people are getting this idea from since I never said where or what industry I work in. I work in a retail chain. Nothing special. Questions. 1. What am I planning to do about Tally? Unfortunately, due to what Amy has done, all I can really do is damage control. Of course I am planning to explain to everyone what has happened. I do not want Tally to be going through this. She is a genuinely kind person who does not deserve any of this. I am actually on my way to speak to our boss at the moment to see what can be done. Tally's boyfriend is also saying he will speak to her on my behalf and see if he can get her to talk to me. Hopefully we'll have an update by tomorrow. My husband M35 is a bank clerk and I F29 have WFH job which I barely bear since I'm an active outdoor person and like doing gardening stuff in particular. I figured since I have background in gardening I decided to use our spacious backyard to grow flowers and sell them online after arranging and organizing them into kits. When I brought this up with my husband he said this was the worst idea ever, adding this would be major waste of time and money and suggested I look for a second job. I didn't listen and started my business little by little. In a matter of 18 months it started bringing decent money and I gained customers. My husband offered to look at how much I was able to make in the past months and was impressed. The other day he was standing with his drink while I was checking my flowers. He talked about what a good job I was doing keeping our business flowing. I corrected him about it being our business and reminded him about how little faith he had in my potential to make decent money out of growing, selling cut flowers. He was like well I didn't honestly think your little gardening hobby was going to get anywhere but now that business is flourishing I want my fair share of profit and won't settle for less than 50%. I was puzzled. I asked why he thought he should get any share of profit let alone 50%. His answer was that I was using his soil to grow my flowers on. I said this is our house, our soil not just his since we're married and both our names are on the title. He was like actually I owned this house long before you came along so it's technically mine. I replied that he must be aware it'll be split in half in case of separation. He laughed and joked about how silly I was for hinting separation just because he was asking for something that he so richly deserves which is 50% of the profit. I said no and that he was delusional to ask cause even his soil alone doesn't magically grow my flowers there's a lot of work to it from picking, buying seeds, taking time, effort to care for them, collecting, trimming, and selling them while all he does is sit back. I said it didn't matter to him when I started using his soil why now? He said it always matters when money is involved. We had an argument about it and he apologized but only for approaching the subject rudely but still wants 50%. He's been silent about it since after stating that he already said what he needed to say and I needed to make the right decision. Ada? To clarify my husband and I both have our own salaries, we contribute equally towards expenses. It's his idea since he had a divorce before. He still has things that he owns alone which isn't bad since money has never been an issue. It's not like he needs money for an emergency or something he just wants 50% of profit going forward. Thanks so much for all the feedback on my www.reddit.com web link. A couple people said it was just a validation post, but TBH after you go off on someone like that publicly, getting a lot of attention, you kind of do feel like an asshole, even when you feel it's justified, so yeah. I finally did start wearing bras again, and not at all because of this incident, but because I'd been dealing with depression that made me not really try to get dressed in general, not just at the gym. And dressing for success has been a small way to try to get myself back into a better place mentally. Anyways, the guy goes to the gym roughly the same time I do most days, so unfortunately, I did have to see him again. Even though I really wanted to grab his bar out of fake concern while he was squatting, I mostly ignored him. Until 2 days ago. I was deadlifting, and recording myself to check my form. The guy comes over and says something like you know sumo is cheating right? I get this comment a lot, mostly from men half joking, and it's annoying, but I just completely ignore him. He repeats it a little louder, and I continue to ignore him. I guess he sees that I was recording myself because then he asks if I have an Instagram. I don't post my lifts on Insta, and if he could follow me. I keep ignoring him. Finally, he says something like see your form is so much better now that you're wearing a bra. And I fucking lost it again. I screamed at him that he's a disgusting, harassing piece of shit. Honestly I don't remember exactly what I said but it was, admittedly, very vulgar and got a lot of attention. A worker came over and asked if something was wrong, and I said that the guy was sexually harassing me for 2 weeks and asked to speak to a manager. The guy denied it and said he was just trying to help, and that I was being sensitive. But either way, the manager asked what was going on and got both our stories. Because I had been recording my lifts, I actually had a video of him where he commented on my bra, so the manager gave him a 30-day ban and told me that if he ever bothered me again to let her know, and she would permanently ban him. So I feel kind of vindicated, But I also feel a little frustrated that just one man actually saw consequences for this kind of behavior towards women in the gym. It's nice to see someone have repercussions for their actions, but it's also exhausting dealing with this kind of thing constantly at the gym, even if it isn't quite as overt. But I guess I'll have to keep calm and lift on. My 26F sister-in-law 20F moved in with me and my husband weeks ago cause of problems with her boyfriend. She isn't planning on going back until he apologizes, even though she broke his Xbox device in an argument. I'm a blogger. I have small space in our apartment, sort of like my office but very small, where I work for hours. Sister-in-law always enters the room and takes stuff and not return them, resulting in me replacing them till I got a lock. She was going to the beach with some friends to let off some steam and asked if she could borrow my 2K video camera to record the trip, but I declined and explained that I was working in the weekend and would need it. I got done with my project and left my camera at the desk. When I woke up the next day at 9 a.m. and had a shower then breakfast, I entered my office and didn't find my camera. I freaked out and my husband told me to calm down cause his sister took it with her to the beach. He assured me it was in safe hands, but I kept worrying about it and was upset by the fact she took it and he gave her the key. She got back at 7 p.m. and was pissed, talking about getting in a fight with her boyfriend after seeing him with someone at the beach and it ruined her day. She started crying loudly and cussing him out. I asked for my camera back. She said she didn't have it. She left angry after the encounter and forgot her sunglasses, cream, hat and my camera at the beach. Her friend Aiden picked some of the stuff and brought it back, but the camera apparently got stolen. I started yelling, calling her irresponsible and reckless, and this was 2K camera she left behind. She started apologizing, then tried to blame it on her now ex-boyfriend for getting her into a fight with the girl he was with. I said I need the camera for my work and she had to replace it like yesterday. My husband got involved and said it wasn't her fault it got stolen and suggested I get a cheaper camera from Amazon for now till I can afford to buy a new one. I said, what? Why should I buy a replacement when it was his sister who lost it? She took it without permission and was responsible for whatever happened afterwards. He tried to make excuses for her being an emotional mess. I said I have no problem suing her. He asked if I was serious and I said yes, because I've worked hard to get this camera and my work's always been known to be of high quality, so for him to suggest a cheap cam from Amazon was offensive. He said he was just trying to help fix the problem, but I said he was just helping his sister avoid responsibility. Both him and his sister aren't speaking to me anymore, so suddenly claiming they're giving me time to calm down, where in fact they're cold shouldering me, making me feel guilty for saying that. I'm not sure if doing this will be morally their fault thing since she's family, as my husband says. Ada? Edit. Someone here mentioned the possibility of her friend Aiden taking it, which is a possibility, but when I requested to speak to him about what happened, my sil said I was wrong to hint that he took the camera, even though I just wanted to ask him few questions. She told me to leave him out of it since she trusts him with her stuff.